You are Locked On Mets, your daily New York Mets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, I got the Binghamton Rumble Ponies hat on now for our farm report here. And Jonah Tong was brilliant once again. On Saturday, he went 7 2/3, allowed 2 hits, just 1 walk, struck out 11, got 23 outs on 97 pitches. Tong has been unbelievable this year. 13 starts. He's working on a 1.75 ERA, 107 strikeouts in 67 innings pitched, 13 earned runs on the year, and 7 of them came in his first 3 starts. So you look at what he's done over his last 10 starts. It's 6 earned runs in 53 2/3 innings pitched. That's a 1.01 ERA. He's got 87 strikeouts during that span compared to 20 walks. He issued 10 walks in his first 3 starts, 20 walks in the 10 starts since. That is a strikeout to walk rate of over 4-1. There's nothing left for Jonah Tong to prove at AA. Nothing. He has proven that he is better than the competition at this level. He needs to be in AAA. Now, here's the question. When does he get there? And why hasn't he gotten there yet? Because you could have made the case to promote Tong 3 starts ago. I think there's a couple things that play into this. The first one, it's just, for one, the weather at Syracuse has been brutal this year. Not that that's why they're not promoting him, but I think it's a matter of all the different guys that need to get starts in AAA right now. You already have 3 really top-end pitching prospects in AAA. Brandon Sproat, obviously going through a rough season, but still one of your top prospects. Blade Tidwell, just saw him in the big leagues. He's definitely improving, an arm that could be a big piece in the Mets' future, whether that is in the bullpen or in the rotation. And then you got Nolan McLean, who's also up in AAA. So that's 3 guys. And then over the past month, you've seen Paul Blackburn, Frankie Montas, Sean Manaea now, all passing through, getting ramped up to rejoin the Mets. You also have Brandon Waddell and Justin Hagenman, guys that are on the 40-man roster who are playing a role on the big league club, that are staying stretched out to potentially make spot starts or be bulk guys for your bullpen. So when you have that many arms already, sliding another top prospect into the fold, it's a little bit tough. A lot of times with promotions, you sort of see, all right, this guy just gets called up to the big leagues. All right, the next guy can go up to AAA, or the guy got called up from high A to AA. Now let's call up the arm from low A to high A. So sometimes you see sort of that chain reaction. And because the Mets have so many prospects right now that are talented in the upper levels, Tong's a little bit blocked, but they can still make it work. They can have Sproat, Tidwell, McLean, and Tong all in the AAA rotation. I expect they will at some point. The other aspect about it that I think is part of the equation, it's not the whole equation, it's part of it, is preserving the trade asset. And I don't think that the Mets are looking at Jonah Tong and saying, we're going to trade him at the deadline. But this is a team that has World Series aspirations. And if you need to swing a big trade at the deadline to get the piece that's going to get you over the top, having the best possible assets available to you is a good thing. And keeping Jonah Tong, as well as Jett Williams, who we're going to talk about soon, at a level where they're thriving, it's a little bit of asset management. It doesn't mean you're going to trade those guys. It just means let these guys dominate for a little bit. Let them put up really big numbers. There's nothing wrong with that. You still have enough time this season to get them the amount of AAA exposure that they need. But the clock is starting to tick on that a little bit. If Jonah Tong isn't up by the time we get into the second half, something's wrong, because really he should be up now. And so the way I would look at it, there's now one more rehab start left for Manaea. And then there's really no one else on the horizon. Yes, Kodai Senga eventually, but maybe it's one more week for Tong in AA. When Manaea makes his final rehab start, you might kind of clear the deck a little bit. Maybe then you could put Tong in there. Maybe you let 2 more weeks pass if you want Jonah Tong to get to 15 starts in AA. I don't know why you need that arbitrary round number, but that's just another sort of thing to look for. Or maybe it's, and also I guess if he finished one more week, he would finish June and then start off July in AAA. Or again, it could be the second half. Let him finish off the first half in AA, rack up a couple more dominant outings, and then once you get to the second half, there's still plenty of time left. Last year, Jonah Tong threw 113 innings. The Mets don't do set inning counts. David Stearns has said that. It's all about monitoring how a guy is performing, how they're recovering. They really have so much information that they can tell, okay, this guy needs to be shut down. So it's more case by case basis. But typically, you might want to see a 25 inning jump, 30 inning jump. So let's just say the target is to get Tong to 140 innings this year. You have 13 weeks left in the AA season. AAA season's either a week or two beyond that. So right now, through 13 starts, you got this guy at 67 innings. So if he was just to stay there all year, he'd get right around that target number. So you still have time. The question is, if you want to get, let's just say it's 50 innings or 10 starts in AAA, that's where you got to make a move soon. And that's why I think there will be a move made soon. I'd call him up next week. Honestly, I think he's just proven everything he needs to, but I'm not going to get mad if it's a couple more weeks. It's just, if it's the second half, he's still in AAA. I think you're wasting a little bit of development time for Tong, who might struggle when he gets to AAA. I think the big question when he gets there is, are more established veteran hitters going to be able to, for one, catch up to the fastball a little bit more, but they can also, if they can eliminate that curveball hasn't always been the most competitive pitch this year, and they can just focus on fastball changeup, they might be able to get to him, and they might be able to get him into some more trouble when it comes to walks. So that's the last hurdle for him, but you wanted to eventually try to tackle it this year. So I think, again, a promotion should come soon. Jett Williams, same thing. I mean, I don't think there's much left for him to prove in AA. 60 games so far this year, hitting 296, 399 on base, 514 slug, 913 OPS. He has 20 stolen bases, 19 doubles, 5 triples, and 6 home runs. So 30 extra base hits in 60 games. And there's no dilemma over, feeding anyone else starts or playing time for Jett Williams getting the call up. There's one prospect at that level right now. It's Drew Gilbert. He's not even having a good season, 684 OPS. I would bring Jett along, put him up in that AAA lineup, start him at shortstop every day. I'd make that move sooner than later. When it comes to AAA today, I just want to mention real quick, Mark Vientos, 0 for 3 day as the DH, and they pinch hit for him. I don't know if he's hurt again, if something happened. We'll find out if anything is there or if they just decided to pull him from a game. Regardless, he has not hit much in his AAA stint so far. Noel McLean started today. 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 3 hits, 2 walks. The 2 earned runs came on a couple of solo home runs. He struck out 6. So another good start for McLean in AAA, who continues to prove that he is the top pitching prospect in this system with his success at that level. Now, couple more prospects to touch on before we close out the show. We'll stay in Binghamton here. Nick Morabito has turned his season around. He was hitting 231 in April. He has hit well over 300 ever since. Has his season average up to 296. He has stolen 27 bases on 32 attempts. And if you look at his numbers this year compared to his numbers in high A last year, it's actually really impressive. His OPS right now is 799. Last year in high A, his OPS was 747. He's hit more doubles by a pretty good margin, 21 in 62 games compared to 15 doubles in 95 games last year. His slug is up nearly 70 points. So these are all really encouraging signs for Nick Morabito that is going to be pushing back on a 4th outfielder, most realistic outcome when he gets to the big leagues. But if he can hit and consistently find his way to an average that's well over 280 and get on base at a pretty good clip, and if he's all of a sudden tapping into a little more power where he's never going to be even a 10 or a 15 home run guy, but if he's a guy that can hit a bunch of doubles, that's going to improve his future outlook as well. Ryan Clifford, the other top prospect in this Binghamton lineup, he's got 12 home runs in 66 games and 803 OPS. Still only 21 years old, playing in AA. He got there very early last year. But what I will say is you're not seeing any improvements from last season. His slash line is within 7 points of where it was last year with batting average, on base, and slug. It's all pretty much the same thing. 230-ish hitter, 350-ish on base, 450 slug, 800 OPS. Last year was 815. This year it's 803. It's just not a lot of improvements. So that's something to note here, because otherwise, if we were seeing some improvements, I'd be talking about him getting a call up to AAA. I'm not there right now. The last guy to close out the show, and the reason why I'm closing out the show here is to prove that I am not biased, because anyone who has listened to Locked On Mets for some time knows I am not a fan of Kevin Parada. I still don't believe in him at all, but I will acknowledge the guy is hot right now. He had a 175 batting average going into the month of June, had a 558 OPS. In June so far, he's hitting 340, 404 on base, 640 slug. Has hit 4 home runs. He's got to sustain that for the rest of the year for me to even blink at this, because I just have not believed in Kevin Parada for a long time now. But prove me wrong. I would love it. I'm not rooting against the guy. I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he makes me look like an idiot for saying that this guy is like one of the worst prospects, or I would say one of the more overrated prospects in the Mets system. I wouldn't say worst, but overrated for sure. Hey, maybe he actually has some value left in there. Maybe he does find his way to being the above average hitting catcher he was supposed to be when the Mets drafted him in the first round. But I'm still not holding out any hope. But I'll acknowledge it. The guy's been pretty good. That's going to be all, though, for today's show. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. Make sure you follow, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. If you want to be a Locked On Mets insider, find the link in the episode description or go to subtext.com/LockedOnMets. Thank you for making Locked On Mets your first listen, your first watch every day. Now for your second watch, head over to YouTube and check out the first ever 24/7 streaming channel that covers everything in the world of sports. Talking about Locked On Sports Today with our local hosts from each team, league-wide hosts from each league. Find Locked On Sports Today streaming 24/7 on YouTube.